Hello, so I think we're live. So, guys, today we have a really interesting subject to discuss, which is basically what is the biggest enemy of content creators and what can you do about it? Because it's something that I face in my own journey, um, like something that's really stopping you from doing what you're supposed to do in terms of creating content. And sometimes, if you don't know what exactly is stopping you, it's really hard to first identify it and then deal with it. So today's session is about, you know, is going to be a something within the video. It's like a small spoiler, but I don't want to say it now. So I just want you, before we start, to guess what is the biggest enemy of content creators. So something that will stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. It could be depending on many reasons. It could be some ideas you have, some like the mindset that you have about creating content. But what we're gonna see in this training video is it all boils down to one thing that most of us, when we want to create content, it's our biggest enemy. And I feel personally that this is one of the things that we have to deal with to really become successful as a content creator, whether you're a business owner, whatever you want to do online when it comes to creating engaging content. If you have this enemy, which I call the public enemy number one for creators, then it's really hard to move forward, and we have to deal with it. So let me move forward with the slide. The question that I want you to ask now is, what's really stopping you? So I want you to think about like one, three things that's stopping you from creating content, maybe today or this week. So you had the idea to create content. You have some brilliant ideas, right, to make engaging content, but you did not do it. So I want you to think about those things. And I want you to kind of like, talk to yourself and say, oh, why I didn't create content? What was really stopping me? So kind of dig deeper. We're gonna talk a bit about psychology later on, but like today's session is mostly about helping you overcome your biggest enemy, and we're gonna see what that enemy is. So how can we do this? First, I wanna see if you suffer or you have these things. Do you doubt yourself? So instead of celebrating your achievements, you may worry that others will discover the truth about your abilities. So it's the kind of feeling of being a fraud. You feel like you're gonna be discovered as somebody who's not capable, and that creates fear, of course. I want to ask you again: are you afraid of success? Like thinking of success just overwhelms you, and you worry too much about what other people will think about you and how they will react to your success, because that that can create a feeling of anxiety for you. So do you suffer from this thing? And the last one I want to ask you is, do you set overly high expectations? So if you're someone who tend to set like higher bar for themselves, maybe your goals are unrealistic, and when you set those kind of goals, you usually don't achieve them, or you don't continue. So do you suffer from all of these things or one of them? Well, if you do, then this is the spoiler. You suffer from imposter syndrome. Don't worry, this is not a contagious disease. It's just something psychologically that most of us deal with. So don't feel bad. We're gonna talk about how can you deal with it and overcome it. But first, I want to discuss what is it and how can you identify it, and from there move on. So I do believe for a lot of content creators, the imposter syndrome is your biggest enemy. And of course, you need to defeat it if you want to move forward. You cannot just ignore it. Because in my personal experience, I tried many times to just like, oh, that I kind of know that I have this issue, but I'm just gonna pretend that it doesn't exist and move forward. And what you find is that oftentimes like you're gonna stop, and you're not going to continue. There is no consistency because the imposter syndrome is something that it's very powerful. It's something that stops most creators from either starting, or even if you start, it stops you from continuing or achieving those kind of goals that you have. So first, imposter syndrome is a condition, let's say, that a lot of people suffer from, whether it's creation, whether it's artist, business. So everybody suffers from this. So don't worry in terms of like, am I the only one? We're gonna see some data about this. And there are basically 5 types or 5 kinds of imposter syndrome. And it's been studied by Dr. Valerie Young. I really recommend that you guys check her books. She's doing really amazing work when it comes to imposter syndrome. So let's see the first one, the superhero type, which just tends to overwork themselves to make up for how inadequate or how incapable they are. So these kind of people, they usually just overwork themselves to the limit. So just keep working, keep working, keep working. But it doesn't really lead to any like real results or any actual progress. They work too much, but it doesn't show. That's the one of the types. The next one is the natural genius. So these kind of people, they just set high bars for themselves, and of course they feel crushed when they don't meet those kind of goals. And I'm just gonna tell you something before we continue. I kind of suffer from all of them, so don't worry if you see yourself in one of these types or characters. Then we have the expert. So the expert is somebody who's never satisfied with their level of understanding, and they always trying to learn more. Have you ever had this, issue of like learning about how to make a video, for example, or how to make a specific thing or a skill, and then you get stuck into just learning about it, and you never do. You just learn. Oh, I want to know how to make a transition for my videos. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and then it's like one video, 5 videos, and then it becomes like 10 videos, and you're not satisfied with what you know about how to make transitions look cool or whatever, and you just keep learning more. That's a different kind of like fear of execution, and it manifests itself in this kind of expert type that you just learn, but not really execute. Then we have the perfectionist, which I relate to completely. So somebody who's never completely happy with their work, and they just fixate on the flaws or on what's not working instead of focusing on the strengths. And I'm a perfectionist, and I'm always working on it. But it's kind of those things like you are never satisfied with anything you do, and you just keep reiterating and redoing the work and trying to improve it. But the big issue is that you're not actually publishing or posting or putting your work out there. You're just stuck into the lab, so to say, like the lab of creation, but you're not actually releasing the work. And perfectionist people, I think you can relate with this. It's something that really stop us from moving forward and becoming successful. Because if, let's say, you are an artist, musician, for example, and you've been working on a song for, let's say, 10 years, but you've never released it. So you lost all 10 years of actual progress because you just like working on the song for so many time, and maybe even the relevance of the song is gone because of the time difference. So perfectionists, they just keep working and improving on things without actually releasing them. And then we have the soloist, which comes from being solo. They prefer to work alone, and they won't accept help from other people because they're afraid of appearing weak or incompetent. So basically, those kind of people that really don't like asking for help or even maybe searching for help. They want to figure things by themselves. And of course, that's not a good strategy because it's going to take you a lot of time, a lot of struggles to find information that other people or other experts or online or offline will just offer you quickly and easily. And that will give you more time to actually put in the work, not just keep searching for solutions and we cannot work alone. Like when I say work alone, I don't mean you have to have a partner in the business, for example. I mean just asking for advice, looking for expert advice, looking for information online or whatever it is. We cannot just do stuff alone. We need information, advice from other people. So yeah, these are the 5 types of the imposter syndrome that I think I think personally, most of them I have experience in some way, shape, or form. And if you can relate to these, then you have an imposter syndrome. And it's not really exclusive to these 5 types. You can have different types, but it basically means that you're kind of afraid of actually releasing what you work on because of these kind of conditions. And we're gonna move on to talk about what's the real problem with having this. So you can say, oh, I am one of these. So what's the problem? Here's the problem. You are still not creating. That's the big deal. So it doesn't really matter like how or why you have the imposter syndrome, because the end result is always the same. You're not creating content. And when I say creating, I mean you're not actually having any progress, right? The real progress, which is, creating something, putting it out there for the world to see, and moving forward, creating the next thing and the next thing. So that's the problem with imposter syndrome. It just stops you. It's like a train that just like boom stops you in your tracks, and it's a big issue for a lot of us. Whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, public speaker, creator of any kind on any platform, you've had this experience of having those issues with the imposter syndrome that will stop you from creating content, and they manifest themselves in different ways. So don't worry, like I said before, you are not alone. So don't feel here's the kind of funny thing, or the paradoxical thing about imposter syndrome. You will actually feel that you're alone in this, that you're the one suffering from this, and that's actually the imposter syndrome working on you. If you feel that, oh, I actually have this kind of problems, and it means that maybe I'm the only one dealing with this. So it just gives you more anxiety and doubt in yourself. And that's not true, because you're not alone in this. All of us, me personally, I suffer from this, and I still suffer from this. It's not something that you just deal with one time and it's just fixed. It's a process that you have to work on yourself, and it's a process of learning different ways to overcome it. And it's a discussion, that daily discussion with yourself about how to deal with this. So it's not something that just you have. It's something that all of us suffer from. And here's some data or some things you should know about imposter syndrome. It's like 8 in 10% or 8 in 10 people experience imposter syndrome because they ignore universal truth about success. So that was from Inc. Website and also the magazine. You see 85% of UK professionals suffer from imposter syndrome. So it's not 20% or 10%, it's 85%. So a lot of people suffer from this, and it's not something that you might always have. It maybe comes in waves. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, but it's still there. It's something that I think everybody have had some kind of experience with this. And when you talk to successful people, they often say that they kind of found a way, or they had to deal with the imposter syndrome and overcome it. And there are different ways to deal with it, and we're going to discuss later on, because we're here about strategies and solutions, not just the problem. So yeah, you can see in this, I like this small graph here about how many people actually reported having the imposter syndrome in their career or their business. And you can see that the people who said never, they're like maybe less than 1% or 2%, but more than 90%, I would say, had some experience with the imposter syndrome. This is a study from last year. So yeah, like everybody has this feeling, and some people have it, like you see here, the red ones almost daily. Orange is regularly. Some people say sometimes, rarely, but you can see the majority has some experience with imposter syndrome in their life and career. So don't worry, you're not alone in this. And next, I want to move to talking about what actually the problem with imposter syndrome, and what does it do to your brain or to your perception. So the problem with it is that Most often it's not true. It's a distorted version of reality. Because as you can see in this graph here, or in these two images here, when we have the imposter syndrome, usually what we know, so which represent the blue circle or the blue sphere, what we know and what we perceive others know, it's way bigger. Like the yellow one, for example, is what others know. So it means that we perceive or we feel that everybody around us knows more than us. So and that creates a feeling of like being surrounded by people that are better than you, people that know more than you, people that are more successful than you, people that have more potential than you. So you feel small, you feel really, really small within that circle because everybody around you is better than you. And that's what's the problem with this reality, with distorted reality, is that it's not true. It's not true. What's really happening is what we see here on the right, which is we all know some stuff that other people don't know, and it's also true for them. They know stuff that we don't know, and we can share those kind of experiences or skills. But it doesn't mean that everybody is better than you. Everybody is, is doing something that, it doesn't mean that everybody is going to be more successful or have more potential than you, and you're alone. It just means that everybody has their own path, everybody has their own struggles, and you just want to focus on your own instead of like feeling, oh, I am just the worst person to make a video, for example. And that's what you feel before maybe starting your first video. You feel like, oh my God, everybody else has figured this out except me. And that is the problem, because that's not true. Everybody has dealt with this. Everybody felt weird. I can tell you from my personal experience, I cringe. I still cringe every time I watch my own videos. And my friends, they tell me, oh, you made a really great video. I like the quality. I'm like, really? Like, oh, I don't see it. Because we are the worst judge or the worst critic for our own production. So this feeling is normal. But the problem with it is that it's a distorted version of reality. It's not true. And usually it just gives you anxiety. It gives you this weird feeling that you're not worthy of things. You're not good enough. Why even bother? And it's a very, very dangerous enemy. That's why I call it enemy. It's your enemy. It's like you could be alone in your own room trying to start a video, but then and maybe your friends and family are very supportive. So let's say the environment around you is actually very positive. Your real enemy at that moment is not the environment. It's your own imposter syndrome. And it's really, really powerful, because it's going to stop you, and it's going to win the first time, the second time. And if you let it win a long time, it's going to be really, difficult to deal with. And that's why today I want to discuss with you some strategies to overcome it. And here's the second thing I want to talk about, which is how actually we get to this stage. So it's the feeling with the imposter syndrome it gives you this feeling of like, I am just a fraud. And the Dunning-Kruger thought process, or the graph that you see here, is really interesting in showing us what happens during our content creation journey or business journey, whatever it is you do, any kind of skill that you learn or any kind of endeavor that you go through, we always kind of feel or experience this graph. So what it means is that the more successful or skilled you are, the more likely you think that you're stupid and faking it. And you can see in the graph at the beginning, you see here, it's not true. You feel that you know everything. Oh, I know everything about this. It's so easy. It's so great to, it's so easy, and it's gonna be a great experience for me to just dive in and learn this and become an expert. So you have all these positive feelings and ideas about what you're gonna learn before you start. And it's a weird feeling. You feel very confident. So you see the graph here, the confidence level is so high because you don't know what you're gonna get into, right? But then once you start to learn and the competence level is increasing, so you're learning more, you're getting more skilled, you start to get some roadblocks, right? When you learn a new language, for example, or a new skill or video editing, whatever it is, it's usually like the more you learn about it, the more you realize, wait a second, this is more complicated than I thought. And you become aware of the difficulties ahead of you. But you are learning the process. It's like, that's the process of learning, right? But here's what really happens when it comes to getting stuck with the imposter syndrome. You get stuck in this stage here, the one that says, I'll never understand it. That's where most people get stuck. I think the statistic I saw recently was like 92% or 94% of people get stuck in this stage. The stage where you're actually having progress. You see the competence here? It's almost like more than half, like 60% of, level of confidence. But the confidence level is getting lower. You feel that you're not gonna get there. So your confidence is going down, but you actually are learning more and more. You're not an expert, but you have more skills than you did when you first started. And this is where a lot of people stop, because they just feel that this is gonna be a very difficult road. It's kind of those meme pictures that you might see online of people like looking for gold, right? And they're mining, so they keep looking for gold, and you can see like, oh, they're almost there, like 90% there, and then they just give up and they go away. And you can see, oh, it's just there, it's right there. They can just continue for 1 hour or 2 hours and they're gonna get the gold, but they just stop. And that is what the imposter syndrome does to us. It just stops us from progress, from success, from continuing. And you can see this graph is really amazing. I recommend that you study more about this. There are a lot of resources I'm going to share with you later on that really dives deeper into this. It's about psychology. It's about studying the mindset of the mindset of anybody starting a new skill. We usually deal with this whenever we want to learn something new, and that's the problem usually with imposter syndrome. You feel that you're stupid and you're faking it, and you're not going to get there, so you stop. And that's a big problem. You don't want to stop. So let's get to how to deal with it. So we learned about the problem, what is the problem, and how dangerous it can be to your own progress. Now, I want to discuss with you what can you do, or what are some things you can ask yourself to deal with this. So the first thing I want to share with you is something that I did recently and really helped me a lot with my own progress. Ask yourself, what are your core beliefs that you hold about yourself? And like when I asked myself this question, it was like, oh, I believe I'm a good person. I believe I'm a very motivated person, but I also like to help people. Like the reason I started this group, or even like doing this kind of training for free, is because I've been doing this for a long time with my own friends and family, and people like I don't even know who they are, like strangers. They start to ask me like, what you're doing? Oh, I do video. I'm a YouTuber. I create content. I talk about content creation, and they say, oh, I want to do this, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, and I just start giving them more information and, helping them with their own struggles in terms of what they want to create, like the YouTube channel, whatever. So it's almost like I'm doing this out of this desire of helping people. And I ask myself this question, like, oh, I like to help people. So if I know this about myself, and the imposter syndrome is telling me that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of this, then if I really remember my core beliefs that I really want to help people, it doesn't matter what the imposter syndrome is telling me, that I'm not worthy. It doesn't matter, because my reason to do this is stronger, which is I want to help people. I want to give more. I love to do that. So going back to your core beliefs will help you a lot in dealing with this. It's not going to be easy. It's a discussion with yourself mentally. It's kind of like a fight within yourself about, oh, this is going to stop me from achieving my potential and being successful. But I do believe that I want to help. I want to do this. I want to help my family, for example. Whatever that reason that you have that's deep within you, that drives you, go back to that. That's my question. What are those drives and beliefs that you can start to discuss with yourself and kind of like go back to them to give you more energy and more strength to deal with the imposter syndrome. And the other one you can ask yourself is like, do I believe I am worthy of love as I am? Which comes back to the idea of like comparison and looking at what others are doing, which we're gonna get to in the next slides. So basically, am I worthy of being loved as I am? Do I need to change something about myself? And if you believe that, then the imposter syndrome will not have a strong hold on you. You feel that, oh yeah, I am worthy because I am a good person. I love to help people. I love to create good stuff, and I'm not evil. I'm a good person. Like, I want to do good in the world. And if you believe that, then you're worthy of love, of course. Even if you're not, like, I believe everybody's worthy of love, right? But it's just a question about yourself, like, oh, if I'm worthy of love and worthy of like having this kind of positive energy, then it's fine. I can do whatever I want. I can create content without fearing of like, I'm not good enough for it, or I'm not worthy for it. And this is something that we have to deal with, because this kind of psychological questions is something that I feel as creators of anything, like creator of videos, blogs, so social media, any kind of content creator, we usually have these kind of problems, especially with social media, like comparison. Am I even worthy of starting this business or sharing my ideas or expertise? And going back to the core beliefs is what really helps you. And the next one you can ask yourself is, must I be perfect for others to approve of me? Which usually is the core of the imposter syndrome, is the idea of like, I need the approval of others to move forward. And that's not good. You don't need the approval of anybody, whether it's your family, friends, society, social media, whatever it is. You have a voice, you have something you want to create, you just go and do it. Don't wait for somebody else's permission to go and create, because if you wait for them to do that, then it's not really something that that will be fulfilling for you, because the permission or the authority come from someone else, and they will be in control of whether you're going to continue or not. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want to put the destiny of your creation into somebody else's hand. You want to be in control of your own creation and what you want to do with your life. That's how I feel. And I believe most of the imposter syndrome problems that we face come from this behind the scenes idea that we have about, oh, I need the approval of others to move forward. If they tell me, oh, you're doing a great job with this, then yeah, I can move. If they don't tell me that, especially with negative comments or negative feedback, then I stop dead in my track. And that's not good. You want to be independent with your creation. You have a voice, you have something you want to create, go for it. And it's really hard to do this, especially with social media. I'm not going to lie, because the idea of approval comes from likes, from shares, how many followers you have, and it's something that happens to us behind the scenes in our brain and mind. And if you're not aware of it, it can be very detrimental to your progress. And these are some of the questions, but I want to go to the actionable strategies. So things you can actually do probably every day to move forward, to improve your to improve your mindset, but also at the same time to deal with the imposter syndrome. Because I feel that if you don't deal with it, it's gonna really stop you from creating good content, or even finishing the project that you're working on. It's really, really your enemy, and I really mean that. So one of the things you can do is remind yourself that you're good at some things, right? If you want to create a video, for example, and let's say that you're really struggling with the technical part of it, right? So you don't know how to edit, you don't know how to, make the lighting look better. So the technical part is very, very difficult for you, and that can be overwhelming. And that will, so the imposter syndrome. Think of it. I always see it like like somebody in the background, like a creepy guy or whatever in the background, like trying to sneak onto you. And whenever you have this kind of doubts, you're just gonna grab it and use it against you. So at that moment when you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself that you're good at something. So let's say technical stuff about video overwhelms you, but you're good at speaking, right? You're good at engaging. You're good at writing. You're good at whatever it is, whatever skill you have. You have some skills, right? If you're good at those, remind yourself of that at that moment of doubt. Because if you don't, the doubt will overwhelm you. Imposter syndrome comes, and you're not going to continue. One other thing you can do is to simply observe your thought, which comes back to what I said about always having this discussion with yourself. So don't try to judge yourself immediately. Just observe. Oh, I feel like shit today. Like, oh, I don't want to create content because. So I don't want to create content. So I don't feel like it, right? That's an idea. That's a thought that comes to you. If you try to, engage with it directly and say, oh, no, I should not think like that. You're going to freak out. Then it's going to just overwhelm you. Because at that moment, when you freak out, the imposter syndrome will come and become stronger. And then you're not going to create that day. What really helped me, and I really suffered from this a lot of times, especially as a perfectionist, whenever I feel that, oh, I don't want to create content today because I don't feel like it or whatever it is, I used to be very confrontational with myself. So I freak out. I'm like, no, I should create. I have this written down. My goal, I need to get it today, not tomorrow. And you freak out, and then you feel a lot of anxiety. You feel that you're not good enough, and the imposter syndrome will win at that moment. What I learned to do recently, and it's really working well for me, is to not even engage with that thought. And it comes from a sense of being, humble or humility. Don't engage with it. Just, oh, I feel that I don't want to do something today. Okay, why? And you ask yourself very peacefully, calmly, why? Oh, maybe because I didn't do 100% of the work yesterday. I did maybe 60%. Oh, I see. So because yesterday was not a successful day, so today I don't have the energy to do what I'm supposed to do. I see. So what can we do? Oh, maybe I can change what I'm supposed to do today. Instead of doing like 2 videos that I have on my journal, oh, maybe I can do 1 video, or maybe we can do a short video, right? You can change because, I want to do something, but I don't have the energy for it today. So you become flexible. You talk to. So you see what I'm doing with my hand? You become like flexible with it, not very aggressive and like, no, there is no option here. I need to do it, and that's not going to work. The imposter syndrome will win in that case. And doing this really helped me a lot personally, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. And even my friends, when I talk to them, especially other creators, they also suffer from the same thing. And the moment you start to become more flexible and adjust your like, let's say, schedule or goals depending on how you feel, it doesn't mean that you're gonna scrap your goals. Don't get me wrong. It means that you become more flexible. Instead of doing something in the morning, you're gonna do it in the afternoon or the evening. You're gonna still do it. You have to create, but you're more flexible. Don't get stuck into just fighting those ideas that come to you that might feel negative or feel destructive. Just observe them. Oh, like I said, I have this idea. I don't want to create today. Ask yourself why. Engage in a very calm conversation with yourself about why. Why is that? Oh, because yesterday, because this, because maybe I had a talk with my family on the phone, and we had a kind of like a small argument, and that made me made me feel kind of, I don't know, put me in a bad mood, right? So that could be the cause of not having the energy to create, right? And you never know that until you have a discussion with yourself and you kind of unpack those feelings and emotions that kind of compound themselves to create those thoughts or negative feelings. And the second, the other thing you can do, by the way, these are not in order from 1 to 6. You can start with anything in this list, but it just to keep it in order. So you can also question your current knowledge and beliefs, not yourself. So always focus on the creation or the video, not you personally. And I think a lot of creators suffer from this. We tend to put our creation we tend to take the criticism that we get from people, from the market, from comments, whatever. Uh, we tend to take it personally. It's not about you, okay? It's about the creation, the video. You are yourself, so you are different. Okay, you have your feelings, you have your thought, you have your experience, you have your journey. That's a human being, right? It's very complex. You're not a comment. If somebody says the video sucks, that's it. The video sucks. Okay, you say, fine, thank you for the feedback, and maybe I can improve this, maybe not. Maybe I disagree with you. I think this is my best video. Fine. It's just about the video, not about you. Even if they say you suck as a person, usually the people, they just want to they want to trigger some kind of like response from you. If they say that, don't mind it, just move on. And it's not about you, it's about what you created and presented. So separate yourself from the creation, and whatever you're doing, don't take it personally, because you're gonna face some critics, some comments, whatever you're posting, video, picture, whatever, a short, a reel, a story, any kind of creation online will trigger, as you know, some kind of response. So just ignore it, move on with your life, and create more content. It's not about you. You're a creator. You're not the creation. You're a creator. So focus on that, not yourself. And if you have something to kind of question, like some beliefs or some knowledge, try to question that, not yourself. So if you have a belief about how business, or how to do email marketing for business, don't get stuck into the belief and kind of like putting the belief as important as you. It's not you. It's just an idea or a belief or a system or a mindset that you have in your head. So question that, not yourself. And the imposter syndrome actually does the opposite. When we have it, we usually question ourselves, not the beliefs we have, not the mindset that we have. The mindset can change, the beliefs can change. We cannot change you as you. And when we try to do that, it just creates a lot of problems. So question the knowledge or the beliefs you have, not yourself. And when it comes to comments and feedback, it's not about you. Don't take it personally. The other thing that comes from this, which is number 4, stop comparing yourself to others. This is the big one for a lot of creators, and I've suffered from this for a long time. That's why now when I post something on Instagram or YouTube, or YouTube is a bit tricky because I don't feel that kind of pressure from YouTube, honestly. But when it comes to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, other platforms as well, like TikTok, even though I'm not so big on TikTok, when you see what other people are doing and every picture is perfect, you start to compare yourself to others, and you compare your journey to their journey, and it's not a good thing to do. It's going to really create a lot of anxiety for you, and it's not something that you want to keep doing every day, looking at other people's progress. My advice to you is to post and get out. That's what I'm doing, at least for some time, at least when you want to create momentum in the beginning. Don't look at what others are doing. And don't fool yourself into thinking that, I can look at what they're doing so I can get more advice, or I can get a feel of how people are doing things successfully. That's what I told myself, to fool myself into comparing and into looking at what others are doing. I told myself, hey, I'm looking at what other creators are making because it's going to help me make better content. It's going to help me create, good, quality content. But it was a lie that I told myself. Don't look at what others are doing. You can look sometimes for some expert advice, that's fine, but not get stuck into just looking at what others are doing and comparing yourself to their progress. They have their own journey. They have their own progress. Everybody has their own unique journey. And once you compare it, especially with numbers that are very one-dimensional, like, he has 40,000 subscribers, I have only 100, or she's having 10,000 clients, she just posted that on Instagram, I only got one, or I didn't get any clients. Oh my God, how can I get there? And then you feel so bad about your progress and yourself, and you doubt yourself and you stop. it's not gonna do you any good. So don't compare yourself to others. And the practical way to do that, so it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say don't compare yourself. But what I found, the most practical thing you can do, don't consume social media that much. Maybe a little bit. Produce on social media, but don't consume too much. Like what I'm doing now is basically 90-10%. And even that 10% sometimes can affect me. So 90% of my time on social media is I'm creating something, I'm posting something, I'm producing, I'm sharing something, and then I get out. I don't want to linger too long there, because if you do, it's gonna be so influential and in a negative way. And there's Andrew Human. I forgot his name. I'm gonna post it there. He's a psychologist, and also he's a neuroscientist, and he had a great discussion on different podcasts and interviews about, the algorithm is always gonna win. In neuroscience, they study how the brain works and human behavior, and it's basically you are always losing in that battle. So don't even try to resist or say, oh, I can just look and it doesn't matter. No, it will always win. The algorithm is more advanced, smarter than you. Accept it and do what I said or what I do, which is go in to post your creation and get out as soon as possible. Don't linger too long. And number 5, which is something that I really tell to all my students or people I talk to about creating content, is take baby steps and always celebrate the small wins, especially in the beginning. You want to take baby steps. When I say baby steps, is like small goals that will take you to that stage of feeling the momentum and not feeling, oh, I don't have any progress. So it's like small goals that feel like progress when you look at them over time, right? It might not feel like progress while you're doing it in one day or even 1 week, but when you look at it in the sense of like 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, it's like, oh my God, that's a huge difference right there. So that will create momentum for you, the small steps. Because if you take the big steps from the beginning, that's part of the imposter syndrome, which comes from being a perfectionist. You want to do everything at the same time. And what happens usually is just you stop. You don't really do anything. You just stop right in your track, because for whatever thing we're doing, any skill we want to learn, taking baby steps is the right way. It's the most effective way, because you're just gonna feel the progress and the momentum, which I feel is the most important thing for creators to have. The momentum. Doesn't matter how many videos you're gonna make. It doesn't matter what kind of videos you will make, but feeling the momentum while you're creating, that's super critical for having success in this endeavor, whatever you're doing, creating content in terms of like online videos on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, making Facebook ads for your business, creating courses, whatever it is. Creating, having baby steps will always help you continue and actually realistically achieve your goals. Not just, having this one moment of I'm going to do everything, and when it comes down to actually doing the work, you feel overwhelmed and you just stop. And that's what happens to more than 90% of people. They just stop. If you look at the statistic for how many people quit YouTube, or their channel just becomes inactive, I think it's more than 90% of people just quit because they didn't take baby steps. They didn't have the momentum, and they did not celebrate the small wins. Like if you get from 0 to 50 subscribers on YouTube, that's a small win. It's not a big one. Let's be realistic. It's not 50,000. But it's a small win. It deserves its own celebration, its own feeling of progress and happiness. Oh, I'm getting somewhere, right? It doesn't mean that that's your goal. You're gonna get stuck in 50 subscribers or 50 views or 500 or 1,000 or 100,000. It's just celebrating that and appreciating the kind of work that you put in. And that appreciation will create good feelings that will give you the energy to create more and move forward. And the last one that I want to discuss with you is learn to value constructive feedback. And of course, ignore the toxic ones. And this is a big one when it comes to content creation online. Whether it's a video, post, whatever it is. When you post something online on the internet, expect feedback. And expect that feedback to be mostly negative. Just expect it. And deal with that with yourself. Like, oh, I'm going to post something. I don't care if people like it or not. I don't care if people if people comment about it in a negative way. I'm just going to post it because it's just a creation. It's a video. It's not me. And if people are, and that's the flip side of this is if I'm posting something and people are engaging with it, maybe giving me some constructive feedback, some comment about, hey, I like the content of your video, but maybe the lighting is not good, so try to work on that. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the comment. That's a good constructive, comment that you can appreciate and value and makes you improve on the next video. And whatever it is you're doing, live video, recorded video, scripted, not scripted, you're always going to have some kind of feedback from the community, from the market in general. Whether it's positive or negative, learn how to deal with it because that's very important. And I had some discussion with some clients where they almost stopped their whole business. Like they made some videos for their business, kind of like organic content, but they almost stopped their business because they didn't appreciate the feedback. And it's always come back to the idea of like not putting the feedback about your content in the same category as the feedback about you as a person, right? It's just a video. It's just a podcast. It's just a post. It's a story. It's not you, okay? So separate those. And if you have some toxic comments or feedback, ignore it. Why? Because it doesn't help you in any way. Constructive feedback, it actually helps you. It gives you some valuable information. And why we call it constructive? Because it gives you information so you can improve on in the next video or the next project or the next content. But toxic one that doesn't serve anything just for the sake of being toxic, just ignore it. I know it's difficult. I know that you can have, I've dealt with this before when you can have like 10,000 comments that are super positive and the only one that's negative, that's the one that you're going to focus on. And the thing that happens is when Andrew, the neuroscientist, talked about this, he said that it comes from the our survivalist brain, always looking for trouble, always looking for things that are a danger to us. So that's why we focus on the negative one. It's part of our programming as human beings. So it's normal. Don't feel bad about feeling that way. Everybody felt with that, even super famous people and celebrities, they always talk about that. Like they can have a lot of great movies or great songs that like inspire millions of people and is so influential, but they can have just one small project or something that people don't like and they feel bad. They have the imposter syndrome because of that. They would feel that they're not good enough, even though they're like, I don't know, they're like a legend, right? It's a very normal human thing. So whenever you have some toxic feedback or comments, just ignore it and move on and value the constructive one. So listen, these 6 actionable strategies or steps that you can take, if you just do, I believe, 2 of them, and you focus on those, you will have a great time when it comes to creating content. And it's something that you want to work on every day. Maybe not every day, maybe like every other day, right? Or maybe every week you do some kind of discussion with yourself about, how did I deal with the imposter syndrome this week? And what action did I take to overcome it? And if you do just one of these, honestly, guys, you're going to have a really, easy time with creating content. It doesn't mean that it's not going to have its own challenges, but at least at the minimum, you will not have to deal with the imposter syndrome every time you want to create. This is what you can do to overcome it. because when you overcome it, it leaves you enough energy and space, mental space, to create and to be creative, right? You cannot be creative if you're worried about what other people think of you, right? So you want to have that positive energy that creating content really requires. It's not an easy endeavor to create content, because you have to be creative, you have to be engaging, you have to, be very disciplined, and a lot of these things require energy. And the imposter syndrome will suck that energy from you until you stop. There's nothing left there. So do some of these and you'll be just fine, I promise. And we're not done, because I have a small challenge for you. And the challenge is very simple. So I want you guys now to pick up your phone, open the camera app, whether you have an iPhone or Android device, it doesn't matter, and hit record, then talk. Not do it yet. I just want to tell you what you're going to talk about. So I believe that the only practical way to deal with imposter syndrome is to actually do stuff and, start doing some of those strategies that I talked about in the last slide, because that will build the momentum and give you the habit of creating content. So I want you please to make a 2 or 5 minute video. You can even make a 1 minute video. Just give me 1 minute. So 1 minute to 5 minutes. Raw video of you talking about a subject that you're most passionate about. So you're passionate about real estate. Talk about what's going on with real estate now, why the prices are high or low, whatever it is. You're passionate about, let's say, cooking. Talk about that. What is your favorite meal, or what people don't really get about cooking, or something like that. If you're passionate about, let's say, gaming, talk about your favorite game. If you're passionate about some business ideas or startups, talk about those. Whatever it is you're passionate about, or traveling, whatever it is, talk about it in 1 to 5 minute video. 5 minutes if you are a talker like me, you talk too much and you feel that the more you talk, the more ideas come to you. That's fine. You can do 5 minutes. If you don't want to talk too much, 1 minute. But just pick up your phone, open the camera app, and hit record. And I promise you, if you do this, this is a challenge that you have to do now, after watching this live, because it doesn't require anything. I'm not talking about lighting. I'm not talking about a microphone, camera. I said pick up your phone, open the camera app, and hit record, and talk about something that you're passionate about. And here's the next step. So step 1, 2, 3. The next step is share that video. So once you finish talking about whatever you're passionate about, I want you to share it on your favorite social network. So don't do retakes. Don't edit it. Just post it. I don't want you to, overcomplicate this. Pick up your phone. So pick up your phone, open the camera app, right? And hit record, start talking about something you're passionate about, whatever it is, any industry, anything, whatever you want to create content about, you're very passionate about, you can. So what passionate actually means is that you can talk about it without any kind of preparation. It's something that you really love, something that you have a lot of information about. Just talk 1 to 5 minutes. And I promise you, if you do this after this live, not the next day or like, oh, I don't feel like it. This is how you can deal with the imposter syndrome. If you can take small baby step actions without overthinking it, you're on the good track of becoming a successful content creator. And if you say, oh no, tomorrow is a good day to do this, I promise you, tomorrow you're going to wake up with a different mindset. And maybe this live or this training that we just had will not have the same effect on you. So use that energy that you feel and whatever you learn from this to take action now. And I promise you, if you do this, you're going to have a great time. And I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote from Henry Ford. One of the greatest discoveries a man or a woman makes, one of his great surprises is to find he can do or she can do what he or she was afraid he couldn't do. And I totally, relate to this. So whenever you feel afraid of doing something and you just do it, you just post this video that I just told you to make, without overthinking it, then it's a great feeling. You feel that, oh my God, that was a big burden on you. It is usually just fear. The burden is just fear. So overcome it by actually taking a step. And this is my challenge to you. Post the video, and then you're gonna have a great time when it comes to creating content on any platform. So thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna do more training about creating content and videos, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Cheers. I'm still waiting for that video. Post in the comments the link for that video. I want to see it. And tell me in the comments what was the thing that you learned from this training, or what kind of thing you learned about imposter syndrome in terms of your own life. And thanks for watching.